in White, Part 3, The Investigation. Marion and Hartright planned to make some investigation yourself. So next plan, they need to talk to Annie's mother, Annie Kendrick's mother. But first they must find out something about her from Mrs. Clemens. Mrs. Clemens was Annie's friend. Fortunately, Marion now Mrs. Clemens' address. She gave Hartright. Then Hartright went to Mrs. Clemens' home. She was anxious to know if he had brought her any news about Annie, but he very sadly to learn that he had not. However, she was willing to tell him everything she knew. She said after leaving Limited, Annie and Mrs. Clemens went to live to London, England. But when Annie began suffer heart disease, she wants to talk. She wanted to talk to Lady Clyde, and Lady Clyde. She insisted on traveling to Hampshire because she wanted to talk to Lady Clyde. Each time Annie went to the lake to try to speak to Lady Clyde, but she didn't came. Instead, her came. She didn't came that day, but a very fat man came instead with message for Annie Kendrick. The message the message was that they should return to London, and if they sent her their address, she would contact them. And Annie and Mrs. Clemens returned to London soon, and they sent her their address. One day, a lady called in a cab. She said that she come from Lady Clyde's, and she stayed in a hotel, and she wanted arrange interview with Annie. Mrs. Clemens agreed, and she go to make with her arrangement. She agreed go with this lady to make the arrangement, leaving Annie alone in your lodgings in your house. But it was wicked plot. They lied this lady liked Mrs. Clemens, and she said that she said that she had to collect something from a shop, and would Mrs. Clemens wait a few minutes, but she never come back, and then Mrs. Clemens hurried home and found Annie's gown. Just describe it. By description, Mrs. Clemens, this lady was Madame Fosco. Madame Fosco. And then Hartright asked Mrs. Clemens, gave him Annie's mother address. She gave him, but she said that Annie's mother is a hard woman. Annie's mother is a hard woman. She said that Mrs. Kedrick, Annie's mother, was worked as a servant, and her husband had a job as a clerk in the Wilmingham Church. But she was severely she was a selfish woman, and at the time Sir Percival lived near here, near there, and Mrs. Kedrick and had relationship with Sir Percival. One night, Mr. Kedrick found his wife whispering with Sir Percival outside the vestry of the church. Then Sir Percival, they had a fight. Sir Percival beat him. Then Mr. Kedrick left the village and never come back again. Then Hartright went to Annie Kedrick's home. Annie Kedrick's mother. She was she dressed in black silk. Her dark eyes, back to back, looked straight at him, a hard, cold stare. But on questions of Hartrick about Sir Percival, about her daughters, and Mrs. Kedrick answered nothing special, and he refused to say about Sir Percival's secret. Then Hartright went to Wilmingham Church. He phoned the clerk and he asked to see marriage register. Mm, Marriage register. He said that is that a safe enough place to keep the register, but a clerk said that safe enough. A copy is kept by a lawyer in the next village. Mr. Warbur's office in Knowlesbury. And so that's all.